Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crypto Scene Investigation, where we have a look at various cryptocurrency projects and we ask ourselves, are they worth investing in? Today we'll be looking at Metastrike. If you like what I do on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing, and if you have any positive comments, please add them. I am really wanting us to create a very truthful and honest community and not just chilling projects like a bunch of maxis. So if you have anything which you do want to add, let's say it is a negative comment, then please try to be constructive with it. Please don't just be like, bro, you suck, get a job, because I want this to be my job. So yeah. Anyway, look at that mouse, it's like moving by itself. What else was I going to say? Oh, another thing. This is not to be considered as legal advice. Should only be used for entertainment, educational, and inspirational purposes, baby girl. Now let's go. Metastrike, currently ranked at 2,873. It is on the Binance Smart Chain. Market cap of 5 million. That is tiny. That is very low. Great place to jump in if you guys want to jump on board. So let's have a look at what sort of happened. So they went all the way from about 0.42 from what it looks like from here, but there's probably other details in regards to its tokenomics. Went all the way up to about 0.75, and then now it is at about 0.38, so less than what we started at. Good stuff. So we sort of ask ourselves, how did it get like this? So first of all, usually when it comes to like IGOs or ICOs, especially if they're like metaverse projects, one thing I have noticed is that usually, people will sort of come in and then sort of try to buy and sell and maneuver these little opportunities. And then, depending on if like the project's not that great, it might go down a little bit. But keep in mind, because of how the crypto market has been recently, as we can see, this has only been from the 27th to the 2nd. So that's like barely a week. I think that is a week, yeah. So as we can sort of see, that doesn't really give us a clear indication that this is a proper rug pull, because we haven't actually had this really around for long enough. But I mean, it looks like a rug pull judging by this, but there are some reasons for why it could be and why it couldn't be, and we will be having a look into some of those extra details. Now, as you can see from the actual main thing, so this is shoot 'em up FPS, so this is VR compatible, and shoot zombies, play with friends, do all that sort of jazz. Whoops daisy. Sorry. So let's have a look at some of the exchanges which it's currently on. So it's currently on KuCoin and Gate.io, which is cool. We do like to see that. I do have links in the description if you do want to, possibly get a discount. I don't actually know what the links do, to be honest. And then you have PancakeSwap as well. So all of it's good. So the general community scam, it will be $30. They have a really nice staking option, 60% APR. Okay, that's pretty good. Great coin, giving a lot of attention, up. So yep, some really helpful comments, moon, boom, and all of that good stuff. Anyway, let's have a look at some statistics. So this is their contract. So this is the Binance Smart Chain contract. This is cool, their contract. They have got one of the most impressive ones I've seen so far. Because look at all of these paper symbols. What does that mean for us? That means that these are actually locked in contracts. Now, there are some other things which we will be looking at on BSC Check and Token Sniffer, which are a bit concerning, which could contradict some of these things right here. And so we'll need to try to make some good judgments when it comes to that jazz. But I like how pretty much the only real wallet, which is not on, or one of the only biggest wallets, which is not on a contract, is this wallet right here, which is 1.7%, which is very small. And to me, that is a good sign. That is a good sign. I like that. And we can have a look at some of the extra tokenomics. In fact, we will look at them right now. So this talks about the MTS/MTT token. And so this is their light paper. I don't believe they have an official white paper from what I've seen, but this is their light paper. So they do talk about the pre-sale rounds, and they talk about seed, strategic, private, and public IDO. Now, one thing which is a bit strange/concerning is it doesn't say team here, but we can see that it says team and advisor down here, which says 15.93%, which if we go over to BSC check, we can see 15.9 kind of 3%. So yeah, so that's 90 million tokens. Oh, sorry, I didn't actually mention the maximum amount. So the maximum amount is of total supply is 565 billion, but sorry, million, bigger pardon. But there is something which I feel as though is a bit concerning when it comes to that jazz, which we will be having a look at, which yeah, I think is quite interesting to look at. So some of the other general comments as well. A bunch of spam bots, not interested, do not care, don't listen to them, guys, don't do what they say. Be good boys and girls, please. So we have token release, so 0% at the listing, okay. So 5% at the listing, 2-month cliff, and a linear period over 18 months. So when it comes to this jazz, it looks like these guys have really got a bunch of their sort of token allocations quite nicely done. So 145 million out of that 565 million. So that's pretty good, to be honest. I think that's quite nice, if you ask me. So as we can see, the majority of these wallets would be a part of staking and community, reward, yield farming, foundation reserve. Private sale is 25%. They also didn't add an A to private. That's a bit of a cause for concern. But when we have a look at the actual wallets on here, we can't see any great concerning wallets. We can't see any wallets which are really going to be able to, you know, go and pull us away super hard. Unless one of these other sort of contract wallets is a little bit concerning. If anybody has any idea about whether or not any of these wallets are concerning, please feel free to comment below. But just sort of as a kind of baseline look, it doesn't really look concerning in my point of view. So liquidity, so that's cool, and then they have the airdrop, which is 1%, and then the team advisor, which is 15%. So all in all, from what I can see in regards to these tokenomics, it's solid. Like, this is solid from what I can see. I am not unimpressed with that. And that's interesting. So this is 174 million. And so remember, the token allocation for the pre-sale rounds, so it was actually only 145 million. So it would be interesting to sort of find out maybe what some of these other kind of wallets are being used for. If, let's say, the founders did want to comment, or anybody else kind of knew what some of these extra sort of wallets are for, that could be cool. But let me show you one of my personal concerns with this. BSC check says risky. Have a listen to this, okay? So Metastrike, currently 3,900 holders, which is a bit less than some of the other big boys, but that's okay. Buy/sell simulation report, so it seems to be okay. Yep, because we know that we can currently buy and sell it on KuCoin and Gate.io. And if we actually do have a look at some of the liquidity for that, we can see Gate.io here, and KuCoin is probably going to be around here somewhere. Unless they just didn't name the wallet, or maybe it might come under something to do with the Legion vesting, but we will have a wait and see. So we jump back to BSC check. So also another thing, the owner is not renounced. So the contract code owner part, okay, so the contract owner is still there, and also the contract code has got a suspicious burn function detected. Now, not entirely sure what that could involve. If anybody knows what that may have to do with, I would be very interested to find out. So please consider commenting that, and I can look at pinning that to the top of the comments. And let's have a look at some of the other things. So token supply. So it says dev wallet warning, but I mean, to be honest, this doesn't look bad to me. I mean, this looks pretty fine to me, in my opinion. So it says only 54% burned or locked, and it should be over 95%. I believe that this is probably a bit more of a subjective opinion, to be honest, because I mean, from what I can see from the contracts, it does seem like things may be locked, but it could be, I don't know, it could be like a bit of a show. And when I say a bit of a show, I mean like these contracts might be not as they seem, if you know what I'm saying. Now here's what Token Sniffer said, and this is what really kind of caught me up. So it says sourced. So this contains a pausable contract which could allow transfers to be halted, but this is what scared me the most. ownership renounced or source. So this is in relation to the fact that the ownership is not renounced. So this essentially means, so I'm just going to read this out for you. The contract contains ownership functionality, and ownership is not renounced, which may allow the creator or current owner to modify contract behavior. For example, disable selling, change fees, or mint new tokens. There can be legitimate reasons for not renouncing ownership. Check with the project team for such information. Now, the reason why I find that concerning is because, first of all, even though it says 565 million right there, I feel as though these sort of smart contracts, I imagine that these probably would have been to some extent developed by the actual owners themselves. And to me, that feels a bit risky, to be honest. If they can go and sort of change these up or switch these up, then that's. Yeah, unless of course there is the possibility that these may not be able to be changed. And if anybody has any information on that, as I say, please comment, because that would be good to know. So adequate liquidity present, and as we know, all other holders possess less than 5% of the token. So there are definitely some attractive and beneficial features from here, from what we can see. Let's have a look at some of the subreddit stats. I don't know why it says null, but it's quite interesting because the subreddit doesn't really have too many people on it at the moment. It's got 176 members, and it's been around since October 24th, which would have been pre-release and all that jazz. I do remember this being advertised, and so they went all the way from 1 up to the hundreds. So I would have probably expected a little bit more hype for this sort of project, which this is. Comments per day, and then also posts per day. So yeah, it's kind of been all right. Like I mean, community interaction, most of these, as you can see, have got 0 comments. I have a weird feeling about this though. I'll just check if my theory is correct. Okay, no. All right, cool. Unless they did some sort of management thing. Okay, we'll continue on to the Twitter. So we currently have 89,000 followers on our Twitter account. And if we have a look, we have gotten 37,000 in the last 30 days. That's massive. And this was created on March 24th. So these guys have been actually thinking about this for quite a while. Yeah, that is a big chunk. So either this is definitely blowing up right now, or something else. I don't know what sort of news has maybe come out recently about this project. I do know that they have had a bit of a boom recently in terms of the uptrend, which is currently up at by 35% from where it was within the last, I think, 24 hours, if I'm correct. Yeah, so that's interesting, to say the least. Although it looks like it's dropped down there, but yeah. So I'm not entirely sure. Oh, okay, because 24 hours. Yeah, sure. Okay, so it would have been like down there, and then it's sitting around there. So yeah, it would have probably been a little bit higher from here earlier before. As we can see, it would have set at about 0.4. All right. So we continue looking at some of those things. Let's see what else we can find. So in terms of comments, I did have a look through some of the comments, and it doesn't really look like these guys are like spam or like, well, I say spam, but I mean like sponsored comments. I don't know if that's the way which you'd put it. Maybe bot comments. So it doesn't really look like they are bot comments. I did find there are some funny comments though. So one of them is this: very good start. So this is just sort of showing like the market or whatever. And then one of them was also hilarious. It was like some guy being like, how come you guys are bad or something? And then, oh yeah, like, and then the other guy responding to him being like, oh, you seem to know everything about marketing. Why don't you like apply to work for them? Because he was complaining about how they suck at marketing. I just thought that was really funny. So the guy commenting being like, yeah, um, why don't you apply to work for them then? So yeah, so as we can see in terms of searches, we have had a bunch of searches, and it looks like that they've actually had their peak recently between January 23rd to 29th. So in terms of that, I think that is incredibly attractive. So it definitely tells us that this is currently being looked into, currently searched, and all that jazz. We'll have a look at some of the other things as well. So it's free to play, play to earn, and NFT trading as well. You're welcome to read through that introduction. If you just want to go and pause the video, unpause it, great, we'll move on. Game concept, so I talk about zombie mode, team mode, deathmatch mode, and you can build your own map to play and earn. So yeah, so NFT boxes, which I mean, I'm pretty sure this is like the loot boxes, which I mean, it's practically gambling. Pretty sure that loot boxes, when they're like banned in some countries or like games or something. So this is talking about their roadmap. This is awesome because I love to see roadmap. That is wonderful. So we have a look. So the pre-alpha release, the open beta, so human AI, and that says Q2 of 2022. So I don't believe that this game is actually currently open to the public. When we actually do have a look at their YouTube channel, we can actually see that they have that they do upload videos every now and then. So they first sort of started 3 months ago with a bit of a teaser, and then I think they had an official trailer, and then so now they're sort of showing some of their modes, and then they're also showing some of their alpha versions and all this other sort of jazz. So I think that's pretty cool. In terms of that, I think that is quite nifty. And then so we'll have a look at some of the other details. By the way, so it's cool how these guys actually have a roadmap which goes up to Q4 of 2022. So that would be the Metaverse 1.0 version. Carpi, good stuff. And this is going to be the early access in the Q3. So yeah, so it's sort of a is this kind of gonna land type of deal. The team, unfortunately, it looks like I can't click on direct sort of team members to find out exactly who they are. But I mean, yeah, and so yeah, I'm not gonna go and like sort of snip all those pictures and be like click. But it says that these guys, so according to this, Metastrike is a team of plus 25 members who have strong passion for both game and blockchain, rich experience in visual art, game development, and design through 10 years of developing games with partners like Ubisoft, Hungry Dragon, and Square Enix, which you guys should probably know that, Final Fantasy. We do believe the blockchain games will be the next big thing, revolutionizing the game industry. So it would be interesting to maybe hear a little bit more about them and in terms of their experiences. If we could see like some possible LinkedIn, that'd be good. So I wouldn't consider the team being doxed, but we do have a link to the actual developers' website themselves. So these are, I believe, the actual developers. Yeah, so they trusted us and won the market. So yeah. So that's quite interesting. Just I believe that is what they are doing. CG art. Anyway, let's move on. So they've had a few sort of various press things: Bloomberg, MarketWatch, Nasdaq, Yahoo Finance, all this sort of jazz. Investors and partners. So do they have any big names? KuCoin Labs. I haven't actually seen KuCoin Labs on many projects, so I couldn't tell you how big or not big they actually are. AU21 Capital, yep, seen them a bunch. Cedarfire Fund, yep. Lavender, not sure. Times 21, yes, have seen them as well. Maven Capital, yep. Engine Starter, we do know them. Yeah, so I would say, you can actually be a part of the early access if you want to as well. If you subscribe with them, so I would say yeah. I can't see the sort of confirmation of their partnerships, but I mean, I'm sure that, like, I mean, the fact that these guys are happily listing all of these dudes as partners, I mean, I don't know, can we trust them? Is there a way to find out if we can trust them? You guys are welcome to do this sort of research with that, but here is my final thoughts in terms of this. So I think, so we don't have any interviews, which is annoying. As I say, the roadmap looks cool. I would say that if you do want to invest into this project, I would say it's probably best to invest if you actually want to play the game. This sort of game doesn't really look like my sort of game, which I mean is alright. Yeah, but I mean, if let's say you're into blowing up zombies and FPS and making your own maps and all that jazz, dude, like yeah, get into it. Yeah. So also, as we have seen, staking on KuCoin offers a 60% APR. Which, by the way, APR is different to APY. APY can be moved and changed, whereas APR is a standard stable thing. Unless, of course, there's some sort of cheeky way which people try to go about it or what have you. Yeah, so I think in terms of all that jazz, especially because you have a market cap of 5.9 million, which is very little if you think about it, when it comes to the metaverse projects, I would say that you're taking a bit of a risk, a bit of a punt on this, because from what I have seen, it does look a bit kind of basic, a bit sort of like indie game developer kind of thing. But that's also because they don't have a fully released product yet, dude. Like, this is literally the early stages. In fact, this isn't even early access. This is like pre-early access. So yeah, so the fact that like it wouldn't be right to judge the project in terms of how it actually looks properly based on these sort of things. So it looks like they have things working, which is good, and we can see some brief alpha gameplay, knowing that they are actually working on it, which is very cool. I mean, we can see some we can sort of see like the hits. We can see some effects. We can see the reloads. We can see some of the walking. And some of the explosions and everything. So those are positive things about this project. Yeah, so the only, as I sort of mentioned earlier, one of the other sort of concerns would be in regards to the actual suspicious burn function detected, but also the ownership not being renounced, meaning that they could go and sort of change things on the market in that regard. So that is what I think about this jazz, ladies and gents. Am I going to invest in this project? I don't think I will, dude. I think if I want to invest in it, like I feel like I want to see, like, it's just not something which I'm really interested in. But if you want to invest in it, go and invest in it, dude. Literally jump in. Remember, not financial advice, but hey, man, do y'all thing. Anyway, ladies and gems, that is my video. Please consider joining my Patreon. That would be gangstered as heck. Get early access and stuff if you really want it. But also, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you have any great comments or any insights which I did not mention in this video, you are very welcome to add them into the comment section as well. Please, let's try to keep a really good and healthy community where we encourage each other to actually find out the truth behind projects. Oh my gosh, they have listed some of the details down here and I didn't even look into them. Aren't I just a sinner? Yes, so you guys are welcome to sort of jump on there. Sorry, folks, that is unprofessional on my part. But yes, anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. Yeah, like and subscribe and keep spreading the truth, man. Keep spreading the love. Fare thee well.